I have with me out here Lieutenant Josh McCard with the Lawrence County Fire Department, Emergency Management, and we're out here testing a dry hydrant on Kevin Baggett's property out on Blackshear Ferry Road. I know we've got probably 10 or 11 of these scattered across the county, but explain to our viewers, what is a dry hydrant?
A dry hydrant is not like your conventional hydrant in the town where it's supplied by water with a water tower. This is actually placed into a pond so that you can draft water from a truck. We have the capability of drafting water from a static water source and being able to supply water to our fire. Like you said, we have 10 or 11 of these around the county, and they don't get used much. We do go around and check them, but thank the good Lord we don't use them much.
Yeah. And we're watching this one be tested now. We're watching footage as we talk. It's shooting that water a pretty good ways out in this pond, isn't it?
It really is. We can supply a lot of water. This 1250 pump, 1,250 gallon per minute pump, so we can move a lot of water.
And the pressure coming out, how many pounds per square inch is that?
PSI on the pump was about 110, 120. We were playing with it there because it was starting to cavitate. What the pipe size and everything is starting to cavitate, but we played with it, and it was highest we got was about 120.
And if we have a citizen watching now, do you encourage other people to do this, and what does it take to undertake a project like this?
Yes, I encourage anybody, if you can make things safer. Unfortunately, our county's so big, we don't have water supply as far as like hydrants and water systems in the county. This is very valuable to us. But at the same time, if you don't have a dry hydrant, we still have the capability of being able to draft from a static water source. This just makes it a little bit easier and a little bit quicker to establish that water supply.
Okay, take me through it. We've got a fire out here at one of these homes. We're out here in the country. We got a fire. You show up. You got water on the trucks already, right? Okay, take me how you would use this.
How we would use this?
Yeah.
Probably our first due engine would, establish command and start trying to mitigate the incident. Then probably our second truck in. We usually respond at least 2 engines and a service truck to every call. We do have a tanker in this district, so it would respond as well. But one of those engines, depending on the situation of what the fire is like, if we need that extra water, the second due engine would connect to that water supply and supply water to either the other pumper, or we would use it as a water shuttle or whatever. It depends on where the fire is and what the progression of the fire is.
Okay. And we've actually had a fire out here. Y'all responded to a fire on this property, hadn't you?
Just a couple months back.
Yeah. So
thank goodness it wasn't any worse.
That's right. But the thing is, the home's built now, and it could be just catastrophic for the homeowner.
Oh yes.
So this could be a lifesaver, physically life, or it could be a property saver.
Exactly, and that's our main 2 goals, is life and property. And whenever we can be able to, mitigate a call at its early stages is the better.
And how long have you been with the Lawrence County Fire Department?
Altogether, probably about nine and a half years.
Okay. And what made you want to get into firefighting?
I grew up in a public safety family, law enforcement, and also, and I've had firefighters in my family as well. I just felt the urge to serve my community and be able to help others.
Well, and I'll have to say, we have one of the best trained Lawrence County Fire Departments, emergency management, between Don and Terry Cobb and people like you. So we're in good hands. But y'all, people say, well, they just work every now and then. Y'all train all the time, don't you?
We do. We're trying to strive. We've actually started trying to, as far as our career staff, we're tried to get up to the ISO level to help our community, try to improve our score, because it helps everybody. We're actually trying to train more, which does take a lot out of us, but at the same time, we think that it is very beneficial for our community to be able to give them that better ISO rating so that all the insurance companies
absolutely.
are happy as well.
And that's money saved in these families'
Exactly.
hands, and there's no doubt that's a good thing. Well, I want to thank you for your service. We appreciate what the Lawrence County Fire Department does, and I appreciate you talking to me
We
today.
thank you for coming out.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people don't know that Nationwide Insurance is the largest farm insurer in the country. Example, this tractor. There's multiple ways to cover your equipment. It is replacement cost, actual cash value, insuring the GPS system on it. In addition to tractors, we also cover any implements that you would like to cover. Like this front end loader has a value added to your tractor or on its own. A lot of times, the only way we will insure a farm is if we come to your site. We're gonna walk it, we're gonna talk it, we're gonna find out what you do and what your interests are. We're gonna customize it so that you get full benefit with the broadest coverage that's available on the market today. A lot of people find out at the time of a claim that they were not properly covered. That is my worst fear. So we make sure going in that you are covered properly. Don't forget to insure your sprayer. A lot of people say, I rode by and didn't see you at your office. That's because I was probably on a farm.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Now I have with me Barry Walker with Nationwide Insurance here in Dublin. Barry, you insure this property.
I do.
Why is this a good thing?
Well, for all the reasons why Fireman McCard was telling you, but it also deals with insurance premium. Mm-hmm. Many people think that because there's a volunteer fire department right down the road and there's one Parkadary station right down the road from here, a couple of miles. Mm-hmm. Well, my insurance rate should be better. Wish that's the case. It could be right next door, and necessarily it's not going to be better because it's based on the water supply. And you've got to be able to get water to the engines in order to put the fire out. And in order to do that, you got to have the water supply. And as Fireman McCard said, there aren't many hydrants in the county. So ISO is Insurance Services Office, okay, which most of your insurance companies prescribe to. And they only recognize powered water sources, mm-hmm, such as the in-town fire hydrants that you see inside the city limits. ISO is not going to recognize this fire hydrant necessarily unless it has been tested and goes through the proper protocols. Now, in doing that, I do represent Nationwide Insurance and the agribusiness side, and that's how we've had this farm insured, is on an agribusiness product, which is, quote, a commercial contract. Our underwriters has the ability to deviate from ISO, mm-hmm, because it is commercial and it's not personal. By installing this hydrant, it is going to save the homeowner, the farmer, a large percentage of money.
Right.
And so I contacted him and I said, Kevin, I said, he just built a house. I said, this is the rate on your house. And he was like, man, that's expensive. I said, technically it's a fire protection 9. Mm-hmm. And we went through the conversation about the Parkadary and all that. And I said, however, there is a way that we might be able to lower it significantly. I mean, more than 50%.
Wow.
Serious savings.
Oh, my goodness.
And so he listened, and being the businessman that he is, and we communicated with Don Bryant, and Don checked out the site, to make sure it was appropriate to be able to use. Not all sites are appropriate. If the pond or the water source is not accessible to these big trucks and be able to get there without fear of getting stuck or hampered, they got to have a clean shot to the hydrant, and they have a clean shot. They can come in either way.
That's right.
And so Don says, yes, it meets it. Well, it's the responsibility of the landowner to get the hydrant installed. Don did supply Mr. Baggett with the guidelines on how to do it, and most farmers they can pretty much get things done. That's a smart bunch. You know,
You deal with them a lot, so you ought to know.
Farmers aren't your ordinary bear. I mean, they're smart. They can figure things out. They got the equipment. So cost-wise, this hydrant cost about $900, not counting labor, and the farmer put it in, so there was no labor.
Right.
But in the first year, he will more than save that kind of money on his insurance premium. But here again, if you contacted your personal lines carrier and said, I'm putting in a dry hydrant, they're gonna say, so, that don't mean anything to us. But you contact us at Nationwide Agribusiness, and your farm, your home qualifies for our agribusiness product, and it meets all the guidelines for the fire department, and you install one of these things, yes, we can save significant dollars. We're working throughout the counties that we deal in, which is most of from Lawrence County over to Jefferson County to Burke County, down to Moultrie and Tifton. We cover a wide area, and we're talking with all the fire departments and emergency management systems and working with them to help save our clients serious dollars. That's just what we do. We do more. We don't just write your policy.
Right.
And this isn't necessarily a commercial about us, but in a way it kind of is, because this is happening because we reached out to the parties and said, can we do this?
Right, and that's why we want people to know, Barry. And you know, I pick on you before that you're not in your office a whole lot. Your office is actually on these farms from Moultrie to Madison to wherever, all these places you just mentioned. But you spend a lot of time on farms in Georgia, don't you?
That's pretty much what I do. My cell phone, my laptop computer, and my truck is basically my office.
Yeah.
And if I'm in the office, it's because I'm carrying information back to process it, get it to my very capable people in my office that helps me process it. And we have a system that our retention rate on our farmers is about 97%. When they're with us, they're like, we're extremely competitive, but they don't look at price anymore when they're dealing with us. They look at the quality of service, quality of claims, and we're there at the time of need. They make a change, they text me on the telephone, I forward it to, it doesn't matter. I mean, it gets done instantaneously.
And the proof's right here, Barry. I mean, we're on this farm out here, this beautiful, it spreads. I was talking to Kevin a little while ago, basically all the way down to the Oconee River, hundreds of acres out here. And, you know, to be able to save him, I want to go back to that, 50% through this farm program with Nationwide. That's a lot of money.
And actually, that's a conservative number. I told him, I said, this is what we're shooting for, but it's liable to be a lot more than that. And I don't want to divulge his premiums.
But on a personal level, when you save people that kind of money, how does it make you feel?
Oh, I take my eyes off of me and I put it on our clients. It's not about how high I can get a premium to make money.
Yeah.
If I take care of enough people, my needs are going to be taken care of. So it does my heart good to be able to insure it properly. At the time of a loss, we be there, and they're tickled to death that they were restored to normal, and at the same time try to save them as much money as possible. It's a partnership between me and our clients, and Cannon Warnick, who's in our office, excellent job. He works a lot of these areas. Same way, that we treat others the way we want to be treated. That was my dad's philosophy when I came into business 34 years ago, and it remains today.
Yeah, Mr. J.B. Walker, he trains you right. There's no doubt about that. If there's ever been a friend of this community.
A lot of people don't know that Nationwide Insurance is the largest farm insurer in the country. Is your irrigation or your equipment insured at actual cash value, or is it insured at replacement cost? How will the actual cash value actually be determined? By market value, which you can buy a used piece of equipment on the market for, or at some formula your insurance company has come up with. Replacement cost, is it at what it would have been at the current model or the new model? Don't find out at the time of a claim. Call us and let us go through it with you to help make sure that you're insured getting the most value for your dollar. Are your barns, equipment sheds, other structures covered properly? Is your livestock? Is your chemical in storage? Are your fuel tanks, your nitrogen tanks? Are all these items covered? Have you ever been asked? That's what we do when we come to your farm, because we're on your side. Nationwide and Walker Insurance is on your side.
You wouldn't buy a gallon of milk and immediately pour 70% of it out, would you? Then why would you do that with power for your home? 70% of electricity is lost on the way to your house, making it only 30% efficient. But natural gas is 92% efficient. Electricity is good to power your lights and electronics, but using natural gas for certain appliances is the most cost-effective, energy-efficient, and environmentally friendly mix for your home. Use it, don't lose it. Choose the right energy mix. Choose natural gas.
I don't want to embarrass you here, Barry, but I do want to ask you one thing. You do a lot in our community. You support, and we see you on television every week. You support local football. I know your kids have went to Trinity, but you don't just support Trinity. You support Dublin High School and East Lawrence, and you support West Lawrence. And these kids, it's more than the school. You're supporting these children. And I know for a fact the people that notice that, but why is that important? That you support our community, first of all, and second of all, supporting our children like you do?
Well, our community is a big family, and it doesn't matter what church you go to, what school you go to, or where you work. Yeah. We're all in it together. Our chamber and industrial part that builds and tries to bring businesses in, it's all about the entire community. If it's good for the community, it's good for everybody. Yeah. And I was in Atlanta this past Wednesday riding with a friend of mine who's also an agent, and he was complaining about the traffic. And I'm like, brother, that's why I'm in Lawrence County. I said, a traffic jam to me is it takes me 5 minutes to get to work rather than 2. Yeah. So this is such, I've got 2 older children. One's 32 kids, lives in Lawrence County, came back after college. One's 28. Went off to college, back teaching and coaching in Lawrence County. Yeah. And that does my heart good that they want to come back. Yeah. And because of the community and the way that they try to take care of everybody. I know there's friendly rivals and there's ribbing and jabbing.
It makes it fun.
It makes it fun, and in most cases it's all in fun, all in jest. And after we agree to disagree, we go get a Coke and a hamburger and talk about the game.
Yeah. Is there anything before we go, Barry, that we hadn't touched on that you'd like our viewers to know?
The only thing is if you have a situation like this where you've got a water source and you're in the county, give us a call and see if we can't help you out. And we would love to do it. And even if you are not with us, call us anyway. It doesn't matter. I have a lot of people give me a call that are friends of mine that actually don't have insurance with me, and they ask me insurance questions. Yeah. And I have no problem whatsoever. And they generally say, now when my policy comes up, I ain't gonna come see you. I said, brother, as long as I got your friendship, that's what's important.
Absolutely. Well, Barry, I appreciate you talking to me. I know you're busy. We're out here on a Friday. You got things to do, but to be out here, and I watched your face. We were on opposite sides. I was amazed. I've never seen anything like this, and I was watching. You was having fun. watching this. So it was exciting. I'm glad you invited me out here, though.
Well, I was over there right beside your cameraman taking pictures, because as soon as I leave here, I'm going to upload it to my computer and send it to the underwriter so that we can activate these rates for Mr. Baggett.
Thank you.
And Mr. Baggett's going to be the Mr. Baggett's going to be the one with a smile on his face.
Well, thank you, Barry. I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, James, and what you do and what your station does for the community.
Thank you, Barry. And don't forget, Barry Walker and Nationwide is always on your side. Thank you for joining us today.